Tonight, it's England against Canada here in Stoke-on-Trent. And with some fresh, exciting talent, all looking to stake a claim for a Team GB spot in this summer's Olympics, it's not going to be easy for Hege Riise to name her final squad of 18 next month. Let's hear the young Lionesses roar. Take it away, Abby.
Here we stand, in formation, ready for the whistle to blow. Hearts pounding like an orchestrated band of bass drums, but no crowd to roar. We've proved to a nation that these girls can, so here we stand, the young Lionesses, hear us roar. Suddenly, there is a calm, like dewdrops sparkling on spring leaves, twitching, waiting for the sudden blast, the rush of adrenaline as they chase the dream. The contender, the young Lionesses, much stronger than before. Pounding the turf like 1,000 wild horses in unison, playing as one, thinking as one. With such finesse and grace, she smoothly slots one past the goal. We breathe a sigh of relief. Could she be part of the great Team GB? The pain is worth the glory. As the young Lionesses aim for gold, Tokyo, here we come. Konnichiwa, as they slot home another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Olympics is knocking at your door. We deserve this, must have been the team chat. We can do this, must have been the dressing room chant. Girls watching, this can be you. Young Lioness, you can too. Now let me hear you roar.
Well, you might remember young Amanda Gorman at President Joe Biden's inauguration earlier this year with her spoken word poem filled with hope and inspiration. Well, there's a new kid in town. Well done to 17-year-old Abby Sims, giving us all the feels ready for this Lioness game this evening. Kick-off here at the Bet365 Stadium is just over 10 minutes away, which gives us plenty of time to introduce you to the panel this evening. I feel we have a mini Lioness reunion going on here. It is former Everton and England goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis. I'm going to do my best to not call you Brownie throughout the show.
All right.
And obviously joined by Casey Stoney, manager of Manchester United and former Team GB and England captain. Casey, I'm going to come to you because you were in the studio on Friday as England were beaten by France 3-1. What lessons will they take from that game into this one this evening?
I think the lessons were fine margins. I think they need to be better defensively and offensively. They took their chances, 1 before half-time, they go in 1-1. At 2-1, if they take that chance, it's 2-2, it's a different game. So making sure that they can do that. And then defensively, they need to be better. You know, you can't let the ball bounce in midfield, get done by pace. And then, unfortunately, centre-back has to go across to cover. And listen, this was an unbelievable finish. But if you don't let it bounce in midfield, you've got a chance of defending it. And then the connections at the back, the gaps were too big. So centre-back gets drawn out. The gap between the centre-backs here is huge. And you get isolated 1v1. She can get herself in the box. You can't touch her now. And this is a little bit of naivety to let someone run off you in the box. And she's got a simple tap in. So both boxes, they need to be better tonight. But there were some positives.
And Rachel, coming into this game tonight, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because, yes, you're playing for the Lionesses this evening. It's a team game. But actually, you need to put in an individual performance because you're up for selection for the Olympics.
Yeah, it's a lot on the line for these individual players. And we'll see soon with the lineup that Hege Riise has gone. She's given those players a chance. You know, a squad of 23 usually for World Cups, European Championships. This is a squad of 18, 2 goalkeepers, 16 outfielders. That is a big trim. And we're just talking about England players. You've got the other home nations who will factor into that squad. And very little time to impress Hege Riise. So tonight will be a huge game. But I hope the girls go out and play with freedom and expression and don't feel the weight of that pressure.
Well, that was the buzzword from the last game, Casey. Be brave and show what you're about. Is it going to be the same this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a team that is capable of going out there winning. They need to be brave, they need to play forward and express themselves. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Lauren Hemp starting tonight because I think she's a very exciting talent.
OK, well, let's hear from both of the managers ahead of the game this evening. They're speaking to Joe Curry.
Hege, you've made 6 changes from the side who lost to France. To what extent is this the best team available to you? And how much is this about you trying to see as many players get minutes in terms of seeing them for Team GB?
We were happy with the performance against France. Like the statistics that we had was good. We just lost the game, and that's the most important, of course. But we were happy with the performance. Some players were outstanding, not playing today, giving others a chance to work on the same that we did against France, and hopefully do the things that we didn't do as well better in this game.
Lucy Bronze returns but on the bench. What can you tell us about her fitness? Are we likely to see her this evening?
Her fitness is no problem. I think hopefully we will see her in the game. That's more of a medical. She did the training yesterday, some of the training the day before, so she's ready for some minutes if we decide to go for that.
The Lionesses are clearly a team that you know very well from your time with them. Always very helpful when you're planning for tactics and a team, but where do you see the threats coming from England tonight?
Yeah, I think England with the ball clearly have a lot of threats going forward. But I think what we've done is focus on us. I think that's the best thing to do, but absolutely they've got attacking threats. But I think counter to that, which we've seen in the France game, we've got to be ready that when we win the ball, we've got to try and hurt them.
Thanks, Bev. Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Rachel, let's stick with Canada right there. They've made 3 changes to their lineup this evening. Where do you think their main threats will come from?
I think we certainly know the strengths down the wings. Janine Becky in particular, we've seen at Manchester City for such a long time. She's a seasoned international player. She knows the pressure of major tournaments. She's a tricky player. She's become, I think, more of an impact player for Manchester City in how she's been used. But she's been, she's difficult to stop. And what at the end of it, so for the bigger pitch, not just for tonight, Canada, their main player Christine Sinclair is out. Their number 9, their ever-present goal scorer, got a knock in the last game, so not playing tonight. But longer term and for the Olympics, Janine Becky popping that ball in for Christine Sinclair in the 9, that is where they're at their most dangerous. But it's an opportunity for Bev Priestman, former England assistant manager, to come in and impress in her first duty as a head coach. She wants to play top 10 teams going into the Olympics, and what a perfect opportunity.
And talk about perfect opportunities and taking your chance. Lauren Hemp came on, made an impact against France, and she's in the starting lineup tonight, Casey.
Yeah, and deservedly so. She was a really bright spark. Listen, she's been in great form for her club at Manchester City. She's direct. She's got nothing in her head but to face you up, and that's a nightmare as a defender. She faces up. She's scored different types of goals this season. This one's with her head. The thing about Lauren is she can go inside and outside. So as a defender, you show her one way, she goes inside. You show her another way, she can go outside. She loves taking players on 1v1. And as soon as she gets in the box, you can't touch her. So a really exciting talent. She's got pace, she's direct, and I'm excited to see her.
And we do have a number of changes for England. We can go Carly, Demi Stokes coming in. What do you think about that change at left back?
Yeah, well, I think in realistically, it could be Demi Stokes or Alex Greenwood for the Olympic team, simple as that. And so Alex Greenwood played in the last game, Demi Stokes tonight. So head-to-head battles, that's what it's about. Dealing with the pressure of that. Demi Stokes, they both, got a lot of experience at tournaments in these pressure cooker situations. So yeah, it's an opportunity for Demi because she's had her personal setbacks and she's had some injuries that's meant she's not always played at Manchester City. We've seen Alex Greenwood play at centre-half as well, and that versatility will play in the favour of Alex Greenwood. But tonight, Demi's got the chance to shine.
Chance to shine, and a big performance needed. Teams are nearly ready. That's it. We will be back here at half-time. A stellar game requires a stellar commentary team, which we have delivered for you this evening. It's time to hand you over to the commentary team tonight. Former England and Chelsea midfielder Karen Carney is alongside the legend that is Jonathan Pearce.
Thanks very much, Alex. Good evening, everyone. Everything in balance, a good lesson for life, and an important one for the Lionesses tonight, according to Hege Riise, who thinks they were unbalanced in defeat in France on Friday, between keeping possession, blocking the French counter-attacking and creating chances themselves. Too big a gap, she thought, between the back 4 and the front 6 at times, and France took advantage in transition to slice through the England defence too often. It was a painful lesson, wasn't it? And lessons need to be learned quickly. 8 defeats in 13 matches since the 2019 World Cup final. 3 home friendly defeats in their last 4 makes grisly reading. They'd lost 8 games in their previous 40. The wheels need to be reattached. Also, the last chance for these Lionesses, led out by Millie Bright, to impress Risa before she names the GB squad for the Summer Olympics. Canada will also be in Japan. They'd be tough opposition there, having won bronze at the last 2 games, beating Team GB, of course, in the 2012 quarterfinal. So a big night for the likes of Lauren Hemp there, a stern test against a team ranked just 2 places below England in the world. This is a really good test for them tonight, Karen.
Good evening. Yeah, it really is a good test. I think Canada will give a different, really different type of style of game that they're going to bring compared to France. I think they'll be physical. I think they will press from the front a lot more as well. So it'll be interesting to see how England cope. We've spoken about the tiering, how it's important to play these type of oppositions because, we could be, in Team GB could be linked with these in the competition moving forward in the Olympics, could be pulled out the same hat. So it's good to play this type of opposition and get some experience, especially for young players.
Great night for Millie Bright, captaining her country, deservedly so. She's had a terrific season. Familiar names in that Canadian side as well, players from the WSL and players from the European scene as well. As we await the anthems here today, we believe the Canadian anthem, as it should be, will be played first. They beat England in the warm-up for World Cup 2019, I seem to remember. So this is going to be a stiffish one for England. That was in April 29. Christine Sinclair got the goal. She's not in that side, of course. For Bev Priestman, the England players know her so well. Here are the anthems. Oh, Canada. Coach Bev Priestman, born in Consett, County Durham, singing along to the Canadian anthem. Against Canada. Let's go through those 6 England changes for you then quickly. An important chance for Carly Telford to replace Ellie Roebuck. She'll only likely to get 45 minutes to impress again. Karen Barnsley is due to come on for the second half. Demi Stokes back after injury. Probably only get half an hour on medical advice. Jordan Nobbs came on against the French. She'll be competitive with Kira Walsh for an Olympic slot. Georgia Stanway back after playing 90 minutes in the game against Northern Ireland. And up front, Beth England's been told to stay central and play to her strengths as a goal poacher. Lauren Hemp, of course, deserving her start after that brisk 36 minutes on Friday. Well, Canada, there were rumours that Sinclair would be fit to add to her 297 appearances. That has not happened. She's not in the squad, ruled out. Veens, who came on for her on Friday, starts for the first time. Manchester City's Janine Becky and Alicia Chapman, who was in the 2015 World Cup quarter-final team, beaten by England, also come in. Zadorsky of Tottenham and Fleming of Chelsea provide more WSL interest on what is, of course, the 10th anniversary of the league. Substitutes for both sides are many. The rest of the squad, the fit players, are named there. You can expect Toon to come on as well at some stage, and they hope that Lucy Bronze will make an appearance after that injury. And for Canada, well, no Sinclair, but one or two familiar faces in there. Sophie Schmidt has been around for a long, long while. Very good player, for example. But one thing that Bev Priestman has done is introduce one or two youngsters into the side, and she's not been frightened here to include Evelyn Wiens from the start. Only her 5th appearance, the striker, and I was just saying, her first start for her country. The referee for today, Cheryl Foster, out there just getting things organised, because both teams will line up around the centre circle to pay their respects for the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. There will be a couple of minutes silence on what is a mild night for the Britannia. Been here on many a cold night, I can tell you. Lovely evening for football, for England against Canada, and the two teams will play their respects then to the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Immaculately observed. Nikita Paris turns away. And a start for her. She went off on Friday on French soil, joined up late, having been finally released from Lyon. There has been a spate of COVID positive tests. She could be a major difference for England. Canada want to play the game faster than they were able to against Wales on Friday. Bev Priestman was telling me when they felt the pace of the game didn't necessarily suit them, because they've got some fast players, some technically gifted players. We know about Fleming, we know about Becky. Looking forward to seeing young Wiens and Deanne Rose on that right hand side as the players of England and Canada take the knee. Just watch out for her pace through the middle, for example, Rose. If she comes out to this right hand side, she is fleet of foot, I can tell you. She moves out to the left initially, and Canada, all in red, get us off and underway. We're headed into the England penalty area and dealt with by Millie Bright, who will feel so honoured, and her family will feel so honoured by her wearing the armband, because she's England through and through, a terrific character. She's had adversity early on when she was a child with illness, and had a wonderful season. Jordan Knox up towards Bethany England. Interesting that Hege Riise was telling me she doesn't want Beth England to wander out wide. She doesn't want her to drop deep. She wants her to be a centre forward in the middle.
Look, you want your centre forward, Bethany England, to be in between the two centre halves. Why? Because it allows Lauren Hemp to do her job, and it allows Nikita Paris to be out wide, and they're going to give you the opportunities. Probably this situation now, you want Bethany England on the end of those crosses and opportunities if they do come into the box, but that's where she's at her best, in that 6-yard line.
Intriguing evening for her, Bethany England, because time is running out on one or two of these players to book a selection for Tokyo 2021 and the Olympics. There are only 18 players. 2 have to be goalkeepers. There will be players in that squad from Wales and Scotland. There might only be as few as 12 England Lionesses in that squad. Hege Riise says for the moment, concentration just on England to get things right before, of course, the World Cup qualifiers start in the autumn. But it will be very difficult for these players, Karen, to put the Olympics out of their minds completely.
Look, you're on trial. You know, this is an opportunity to impress the manager. Every player is fighting for their position in that 18. It's going to be very difficult.
Here's Rose with that electrifying pace. He cuts it into the edge of the 6-yard area. Williamson does well in there, under pressure from Janine Becky, who's taken a more central role at this moment in time. All the players wearing black armbands in remembrance of the Prince Philip, and a little bit of a knock for Nikita Paris early on. It's a 52nd game for England. And Leon Striker, who has 13 goals in French football this season. Just a little knock on top of the boot by Quinn. He plays for the Reign Club in the USA. Challenge Cup fixtures start later on this week, or early next week. Anthony England beaten in the air there by Vanessa Giles. Williamson bypassed Demi Stokes. Under pressure, has given it away, and Canada score after 2 minutes and 35 seconds. An error at the back by England's left back, who has been out of football recently with an injury, and Veens is a goal poacher, we know about that. A rueful Demi Stokes scored in possession, and a great start for Bev Priestman's Canada.
It's the worst possible start for England. Couple of mistakes, actually losing possession in that centre midfield. I did worry about the balance in there today for England, but driving at the heart of it. Offside in this situation, Veens, but as it comes back to Demi Stokes, she's the last player, that touch. And credit to Veens, she does not miss, and Kylie Telford, it's a difficult one for her because she's so close, but that was a midfield balance I was always worried about in there with Stanway and Nobbs, very attacking minded, and then Demi Stokes, that touch then just allows Veens to get the opportunity, and it's a good little tidy finish.
Goalkeeper had no chance. Had Demi Stokes not touched the ball, then Evelyn Veens would have been in an offside position. Scored against Wales, her first international goal, and that's her second in, 4 days. So a nightmarish start for the Lionesses. Run goes on, a miserable run it has been since the World Cup finals of 2019 in France. Came back, and Phil Neville knew he had to rebuild a side, but certainly bring in new players with a 4-year cycle in mind, and the results didn't come. Playing in friendly internationals, never the same. And I think that, I mentioned this in the commentary on Friday night, Karen, interesting to hear your view on it. Actually, the delay in the European Championships might have helped England, because they'll be playing competitive World Cup qualifiers in the build-up to next summer, as opposed to just friendly matches.
I agree, and I also think some of our bright talent that we'll see at that tournament will be some youngsters, and it gives them another year to learn. Your Lauren Hemps, more experience for Stanway, just to give them that little bit more experience to step up, because international caps do matter, and the more you learn from playing these games, like in this instance there, you've got to manage the first 5 minutes of an international game, because you can't go 1-0 down, because it's very difficult to come back into it, especially at tournament.
One of England's most impressive performances in the last, 6, 7 years, 8 years perhaps, was the victory in Vancouver against Canada in the World Cup quarter-finals. Here, they've got off to a dreadful start. Free kick there conceded by Rachel Daly, again playing right back for England, ended up at left back against France. Plays as a striker for her club. Picked up by Kylie Telford, a 27th international for her first in 13 months since she played against Spain. Again, doesn't get a great deal of club football with her club. She's only second choice. She's had run by Bethany England, teammate of her at club level, of course, and it's lifted away by Shalina Zadorsky of Tottenham Hotspur. Got some experience in this Canadian lineup. She's got 70 internationals. Here's Nikita Paris, and a chase across there and puts Alicia Chapman under pressure. That's a goal kick.
It was the right ball there from Stanway, that little spacing behind. Need to get Nikita Paris, Lauren Hemp in the game, Fran Kirby. They're your match winners, and then that will bring England into the game as well. It was the right pass, just the wrong execution on it.
Karen was in that England squad that beat Canada in Vancouver. Chapman was in that side that day. And expected to win the Canadians as hosts.
There was always a bit of rivalry between us, there was, JP, that especially with the manager at the time, it was John Herdman, and I'm sure the girls in commentary downstairs will be able to reiterate that, but it was when we got that victory over them in Vancouver, it was definitely, we got one over on them finally.
What was behind the needle then, between the two countries at that stage?
I think it was the manager as well. He used to kind of, at breakfast, because you used to stay in the same hotels, and he'd come up to you and get in your ear and try and get some mental psychology over you, and yes, it was interesting. So I think they beat us in the Olympics, and that really put a dent into us, so we were determined then to do and get one over on them in the World Cup, and we did.
Sinclair got the winner, didn't she, in the Olympic Games of 2012. They've been staying together in the build-up to this at St George's Park, and some interesting conversations between Bev Priestman and her former England players. That's a good effort from range there. It goes just wide from Georgia Stanway. She has that vision, she has that ability to execute that sort of effort to add to her 2 goals for England. Quick thinking.
I love that from Georgia Stanway. Noticed the keeper was off the line. Labbe gave her that opportunity, but again it was sloppy from Canada, and credit to Stanway right onto it and recognised the high line from the goalkeeper.
Ashley Lawrence, dad from Nova Scotia, mum Jamaican. On that line, another one who's hugely experienced, 92 internationals, another baby in the Canadian list of internationals. When you've got Sinclair 3 away from 300, it's staggering number of internationals she's played, and others in the squad as well. Desiree Scott wearing 11, 158 internationals. Giants out wide to Lawrence, who plays her football in Europe with PSG. They're top at the moment in France. Going to end that domination of Lyon. Williamson into Fran Kirby. I think that Egarisa is mindful of the Chelsea and Manchester City competition for the title, and I don't think the plan is to play Fran Kirby for all of the game. Casey Stoney's Ella Toon will be earmarked to come on, I think, for her at half-time. There's Georgia Stanway. And Demi Stokes, just the sort of start she didn't want.
I think what Canada are doing well is they're really protecting the inside, so it's actually getting quite difficult for Jordan Nobbs to get on the ball, Fran Kirby to get on the ball. So they're doing well now, England, just to keep moving it 1 and 2, switching it from side to side to try and open them up.
A lovely ball by Stanway to her teammate Lauren Hemp, handed back there by Ashley Lawrence. Lauren Hemp with the electrifying runs, the dazzling pace, could hold the key today. There's Becky. Infield to Desiree Scott. Winnipeg girl, plays for Kansas City. 3 World Cups to a name. In an hour against Wales when they won 3-0. Stephanie Labbe has gone on to become their #1 choice in the last few years. She was only on the bench in World Cup 15, but played in all the games in France. There's Lawrence, caught in possession. Unfairly. The referee gives a free kick against Lauren Hemp. How impressed have you been with her this season, Lauren Hemp?
I haven't hid my opinions on Lauren Hemp. I think she's unbelievable. I think she's the modern version of a Kelly Smith. I think she's an Anna Rachel Yankee. She's just, I was saying earlier, I think she retired me off. I noticed how talented she was. She's an absolute joke, how she moves. She's so dynamic, left-footed, can score a goal, absolute match winner.
There's Nobbs, and back to Kirby, Bethany England. And the shot from range, not far off target. And they're getting players forward into dangerous positions. And we know that she has an accurate shot and a powerful shot. We've already seen it twice now in the game. And a great effort it was by England's #4, Georgia Stanway, from range.
Yeah, Stanway started really bright. You know, she's higher up the pitch. I know she's been a bit deeper in the build-up play, but you see her higher up in this situation. That's what she's renowned for, those long-distance shots. And again, that's the second one of the game, so hopefully the third one on target.
A couple of goals for England so far. She scored 10 for Manchester City this season, and she's been used everywhere. She's been used at right back recently, central midfield, up front through the middle, off the main striker wide. So versatile. And she played in a 3 at the back in a pre-season friendly, I seem to remember. Free kick for England. Demi Stokes is there, and Jordan Nobbs. He can deliver a good ball into the penalty area. Missed World Cup 19, only played 1 game at World Cup 15. Deserves to go to a majors and play an influential role. In comes her cross. It's dropped at mini point just inside that 6-yard area, and she couldn't readjust her feet and get the shot away on goal. It was Bethany England, inside that 6-yard area. It fell too, and just a little bit unkind, the bounce, she couldn't clear her feet.
Yeah, he just wanted it to fall nicely for Beth England. She was in there, just didn't fall for her there, and Wiens, who was at the right place, got it away from England, otherwise she would have had a nice tap in.
In comes the cross, Bright was in there that time, it comes out to Kirby, swung a boot languidly at it. Shot back towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Demi Stokes has stayed forward there. Appeals for the corner, but it is a goal kick. Next fortune for Hegerisa's side, 6-0 against Northern Ireland at St George's Park on February the 23rd. And then in a second game they were beaten in France on Friday 3-1. As a player she won the World Cup, the European Championship and the Olympics in a rare group of individuals who have managed that feat. This Giles, who is at Bordeaux. Checked on the pronunciation of Vanessa Giles with the Canadian side. I thought it was Gilles, having described her as that when I've been commentating on Bordeaux this season, but apparently it is Giles. Here's Paris and Millie Bright. Switch of play, looking for Hemp. And well judged by Ashley Lawrence, who got it away. Lawrence is one of the players who was refused permission to play in the She Believes Cup because players weren't allowed to travel from PSG because of the COVID restrictions. The throw by Stokes invited Hemp to go infield there. It was a decent run by Hemp. She just lost her marker momentarily, Janine Beckett. And it is a corner for England. We've 14 minutes gone, they're chasing the game, and they're not doing a bad job of it at the moment. Pin at the near post. Into the corner kick. Into that near post area, cleared away. Pushed back it was by Stanway into the mix and away then to Daly. Kirby's on that England right, supported by Bethany England. 3 in the middle to hit. England again. Here comes the cross, good ball in there as well for England that time. Just headed away by Desiree Scott. Stokes has stayed forward, trying to work a shot away, and can only clear as far as Dale. I thought she might have just got caught there actually by Evelyn Wiens. Versatility will be the key to get into the Olympic squad, and Rachel Daly can play as a right winger, right side midfield player, right back, right wing back, and of course up front. So I would think she would be in the squad. England coming short to receive the throw. And around the corner neatly to Paris. Comes out wide to Daly, back to Bright. And here's Leah Williamson. Plenty of space there for Demi Stokes, a 59th international for her. Hemp. And gets it back again, Lauren Hemp. One of the things they're working on with Lauren Hemp is for her to be able to go both sides and take people on the outside and roll inside as well. Hegeriisa was saying there's work to be done in that area.
Yeah, of course you can't become too predictable. I really like that passage of play of England. I feel like they've got their rhythm, their passing rhythm together now, moving it from side to side, a little bit more patient. I am really impressed with Georgia Stanway, as we've said. We've seen her play in a lot of different positions, and I thought this deep line centre midfielder, wasn't quite sure, but she's getting on it and being brave in possession as Hegeriisa wants her to, and getting these little tackles when needed.
And training to a side that has won just 2 of its last 8 matches. They beat Argentina in February in the She Believes, and they beat Wales on Friday. They lost 1-0 to the USA in the opening match in the She Believes Cup, having beaten the Argentines. They lost to Brazil 2-0. USA, by the way, won all 3 games. It's their tournament. Shame England weren't in that this year. I really missed it. It's a good tournament. You'd have loved that tournament, wouldn't you? The She Believes. I think the players loved it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was great experience playing against top international sides. Everyone love travelling abroad to America as well, and good for the team being together in a different nation and building that chemistry. It's both on and off the pitch. It's important to, when you go into big tournaments, that you know everyone is.
Side against Diana Rose, who plays for the University of Florida Gators. Still a student. One little run out in the World Cup finals in France. Was in the team that actually picked up bronze in Rio in the Olympics of 2016.
Again, I love that JP again from Georgia Stanway. Brave, receiving it off the back line. Tight area, good little turn. There you go, it's a nice little turn. Fleming just caught her there, but again, I'm really impressed with Stanway's start.
And behind, Lawrence back to Stephanie Labette. And Lawrence was under pressure there. His Hemp needs a bit of support, you would have thought. Crowding round to his Demi Stokes. And the touch was tight to the line. Looks to me as if Demi hasn't quite got the mistake out of her head from the goal. Maybe it's preying on her mind. It's difficult, that, mind you. Karen, the ball was played to her in a tight area.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's just an unlucky situation for Demi Stokes. She's a top quality international, plenty of experience. She's just finding her feet from the injury. This was the goal that we saw. It just, you know, she'll be disappointed with that because she knows clearer lines, just sensing the player around her. But you have to give credit to Veens to sniff that opportunity out. But a major tournament, England, Team GB can't be really giving those moments away.
If in doubt, get it out. She needed to get that into Roel. Here's Hemp. A little jaunty jog forward by Fran Kirby opened up that gap to Stanway. Here's Williamson. Back to Bethany England. Hemp taken over from Beth Mead on that left for England today. Lost possession.
I think England are at their best when they're shifting it from side to side, and what Canada are doing, they're boxing them in one way. I think that chance there, Williamson can get it out to Nikita Paris a lot earlier, shift it, and that's where England got their joys, moving it from wing to wing through the midfield.
Really adventurous lineup for Canada as well. It's England in possession. Cross looks for Bethany England. It's a good header away in there by Chai. And Alicia Chapman is on hand. They've got Becky on the right-hand side, Rose on the left, Veens through the middle, and Fleming very high as well in a supporting role. Making a little run up there, but didn't get the ball. There's a lot of work to do for Desiree Scott and Quinn, who's playing central midfield. Might drop back to a centre-back position later on. Very able player on the ball there. Swung the pass away. Looking for the run once again of Gian Ross. Ross in for Veens and headed away by Millie Bright. Difficult game for her today against the player who's on loan at Paris FC. There's 11 goals in French football this season, Evelyn Veens. They just need to break this cycle and get some wins under their belts. Beat Japan in that she believes. Then had the one game against Spain, a defeat in the USA before lockdown. And we're off international football for 11 months. And there's a getting to know you phase, as we described it on Friday night in the commentary of the French game. Yes, the players know each other, of course, so well. A lot of them have been together for a long while in the Lionesses camp, but it is a situation where, to some degree, they're starting again under the new coach. How disturbing is that they have to start again? They had Phil Neville, they had the World Cup, then they sort of began again, now they're having to begin again, Karen.
Look, it's not ideal for the rhythm of the squad, but, you know, England have found a manager that will come eventually. And when you find a manager in Serena and you think, right, she's the right person, sometimes you have to wait for them. And I think Serena is the right choice. I think she'll be a brilliant acquisition for the team moving forward. And unfortunately, this window is just not ready for her to come. So, you know, they found someone in Hegarisa who, as you've spoken about earlier, has got fantastic pedigree in the game, knows the game, has got fantastic staff behind her. for the players it is a bit like that, but at the end of the day your job's to get on the pitch and deliver a game plan, and nothing really changes in that.
A naughty one that from Zadorsky. Caught Bethany England. I have to apologise as well, Karen. I asked you exactly the same question last night on 5 Live. Different audience, and I do actually repeat myself quite a lot, you might have noticed.
I'm still trying to work out your question though about the shin pads.
Oh yes, the player is, I'll have to check on that myself now. Which England player has worn the same shin pads for 5 years in a row? Now here's Jordan Nobbs trying to win the ball against Desiree Scott. And we'll break out wide towards Lauren Hemp on this near side. And a roll away, and she gets away from Quinn. That's a nice piece of skill, and she looks for Bethany England. That ball will be shepherded out of play. Goal kick to Canada.
I think this will be a good test for Lauren Hemp today, because she's up against a very good right back and very experienced Lawrence. She's strong, she's quick. Lawrence will run you the other way as well, so it's going to be a good lesson for Lauren Hemp how she comes up about this, and people are starting to know about it now. And when you're recognised, people defend on you, double up on you. You've seen Becky's coming back because she knows her as well. So how do you react to that? And how do your England players help you in that situation when you're 2v1'd at times?
23 gone at the Britannia. And played out then towards Vanessa Giles. The debut a couple of years ago now against New Zealand. Played one game in the She Believes. Priestman believing she can go to the Far East and come back with a medal again in the Olympic Games for Canada. Carly Telford plan was always to give her 45 minutes and then send on Karen Bardsley for the second half. Muguruza knows all about Ellie Roebuck, who played against France. It wouldn't surprise me if she took Roebuck and one of the experienced goalkeepers to Tokyo. There's Paris and England and Kirby, and this is a good move building up. Hemp, could she have gone on the outside, kept up the momentum? Now possession until Kirby's made that run. Now Stokes. Pushed out wide, good defending, good full-back play that. It's a fine player, Ashley Lawrence. Williamson. Thumped away. And Giles on the edge of the penalty area. And Millie Bright trots across and gets it. She said of her football career, a bit of a mistake to get into the game, Millie Bright, because she was into horse riding when she was a youngster. Very good as well, I'm told. Here's Kirby. Back to Stokes. And now Hemp does go on the outside, and this is a good run here by the England winger. Cut it back. You can see what she was trying to do, because Kirby was in a good position and Nobbs was in a good position as well. It is noticeable that Stanway is holding the deepest of those two England central midfield players, and she's got a rattling challenge in there.
I'm laughing because Georgia Stanway trains like that as well. I think that was a thing that kind of, as senior players, when she first came into the squad, she was not afraid to go in for tackles like this in training. That's just a player, that's the commitment that she brings to the England squad. This is the Lauren Hemp bit of magic on this left-hand side, gets past Scott. And then you've got to pick someone out. You've got to get your head up in that situation, pick the end product. First bit brilliant, the next bit, those are the defining moments.
A folk hero in Manchester is Georgia Stanway. There's a big mural on a wall in the Manchester Northern Quarter, I'm told, of her. Or a murial, as Hilda Ogden would have once called it, if you remember your Hilda Ogden from Coronation Street. A little bit of a ticking off for Evelyn Veens. Millie Bright. Stokes. Williamson, good triangle by England. It is noticeable that when Nobbs goes forward, Stanway is holding back at times against France. Both central midfield players bomb forward. There was a massive gap behind them. And here's Paris, who's done well. They might have come off her last. No, it is a corner. It went off Alicia Chapman. Corner ball for England. Chance here.
It's really good from Nikita Paris. Good running behind. No, she's fantastic and she's so fast. Does well for there to earn her team the corner.
You just joined us. England trailed to a very early goal by Evelyn Veens after a mistake at the back. Really haphazard start by England, but they've been the better team since. Corner is driven out into Van Kirby territory, took a touch. Was found on the edge of the box. That's a silly challenge from a player of the experience of Shelina Zadorsky. Yellow card. Tottenham player will go back to Orlando Pride, been on loan. Player holds an Olympic record, sent off in a record time in an Olympic Games match. He's got squared up against the runner. Free kick here then for England. Chance for England to get back into the game. Jordan Nobbs can strike the ball with venom from distance. Stokes could have a go as well. The right has stood behind the wall and well offside in the eye line of the goalkeeper. Now comes back to walk in front of the wall. Nobbs takes it. Ooh, and it rattled the top of the bar. Goalkeeper got something on it. Stephanie Labbe, and Nobbs and England denied.
Georgia Nobbs has got one over the wall. Good little fingertip save onto the crossbar. Fantastic effort from Jordan Nobbs. Power. Keeper did really well. It's getting off on it.
Scored on a W from range against Italy, I seem to remember. In comes the cross, headed away. And it's another good hit from range. Stanway arriving. She's setting her sights. That's her third effort of the game. All off target so far.
England look really good on the actual second phase as it comes out. Clearance. Georgia Stanway quick onto it. Just doesn't get ahead over the ball, so it's just constantly rising. But that's Frank Kirby, that's Stanway, always bright on that second phase. Something perhaps England have worked on set plays, which building some good opportunities. I think England have got momentum now.
Scored a thunderous goal for a younger England team, Jordan Nobbs. The start of her international career, but it was against Italy in the Cyprus Cup where I think she scored on a W. Were you in that team that day? Did you play?
I can't even remember what I did yesterday, JT.
Well, you were with me. I have that effect on people, to be honest.
There you go, there you go.
It was Millie Bright. Now Williamson. Stokes. Now it's rolled away from Lauren Hemp. Difficult to control it. Back tight to the line. Now Stanway's missed the challenge here. Jessie Fleming goes away from her. She's brought down. A poor clearance away. Alicia Chapman wanted to do too much on it though. Nikita Paris was across there. Lucy Bronze couldn't travel to France because of an injury concern, or not considered fit enough to start today. But you heard Hegarisa say she hopes she will play some role. Half an hour played. England planned to take Demi Stokes off after half an hour and introduce Alex Greenwood. This isn't a problem for Demi Stokes, but she has had the injury, and on medical advice and with the club in mind, they were only ever going to give her half an hour today, so this is part of the plan.
Yeah, it's part of the building back into fitness, especially international level, and probably that was the slow start potentially from Demi. She's been out for a long time. She's a top quality player, brilliant defender. Was just unlucky in that situation, but this is, you've got to see the bigger picture, and managers and coaches and fitness coaches. It's not just about the here and now, it's about a month or 2 months' time, bigger picture planning.
So Alex Greenwood is on for a 49th appearance for her country. He's playing back here to Scott. And now Vanessa Child. interesting to see the development of Priestman. She was with Canada before, of course, at the younger age groups, and then she was assistant to John Herdman. And here's the goal scorer. Ran into a brick wall called Rachel Daly. Here's Nobbs. Some big England names will not go to the Far East with Team GB. Not enough positions for them all, because there are Scottish players who deserve to be in that squad. Can't leave Caroline Weir behind, not on her form this season, I wouldn't have thought.
Erin Cuthbert, Kim Little, some really talented players.
Sophie
Ingle, you know, it's going to be really competitive, but I actually think you're going to say this is a silly comment, but it might not necessarily be the best footballers that go. It might be the most robust players, because you've got to play, you know, 7 games in 18 days. So with a squad of 18, some technical players might miss out because you need some robustness in the squad. You can't pick a player that might be fit for 1 in every 3 games. They have to be in every training session, be ready for every single game, and that might be a defining factor as well.
Rose has possession for Canada, and she's got to the dead ball line. And England will clear it away at the back with Georgia Stanway. The draw for the Olympics, by the way, is on the 21st of April. The draw for the World Cup qualifiers follows 9 days later. You can see Team GB in the Olympics on the BBC in the summer. 2 minutes left in the half. Good run here, it was. Has the ability to take on defenders, power and pace, and read the game well there with a little cutback, but her teammates weren't on the same wave length. Scott strong in midfield at the moment for Canada. Good balance in there, Scott and Quinn. Another who made a debut against Italy in the Cyprus Cup, and that was for Canada, of course. Here's Fleming.
Again, that's another important nick from Georgia Stanway there. I've mentioned her a lot. This is better from England now, getting on it. Jordan Nobbs getting on the ball as well. Good movement in behind, just out of vision that you can't see from Beth England. Stretching the play now, England.
Stanway looking long for Beth England to chase off after it, and here's Stephanie Labbe to come out. She quit the game, the goalkeeper. All of a sudden in 2017, she was Washington Spirit at the time, just been out of the game for a little while. And Kylie Telford gives it some away towards that left-hand side. Bean's the goal scorer. A touch on the corner then to Deanne Rose. Fine running behind by Fleming. Winnie Bright trekked across there with her teammate from Chelsea. To be patient this season. He's made 17 appearances since moving from the university side, the UCLA Bruins. Janine Becky of Manchester City's having a good little spell actually. The title challenges, scored 2 in the last 2 games, couple more starts for her. There's Fleming. Corner ball for Canada. Rose was given a little bit too much room at the far post. It's flicked on towards her. Greenwood got it away. Now here's Hemp. Actually, Rachel Daly who got that away back inside that England penalty area. Stanway, would you say she's been England's best player so far, Karen?
I do, yeah. I think she's been the one that's tried to, she's had shots even though she's a deep lying midfielder. She's tried to get in possession. She's got in some vital tackles. I think she, yeah, definitely, like I said, I was worried about potentially in that midfield with Jordan Nobbs and Franco because it's so attacking. I was worried about where the balance might come from. I thought she's done really well so far.
It wasn't a good ball forward by Leah Williamson, but Canada haven't made any great use of it. Becky was caught in possession. There's Greenwood. Oops. Played it to her, then looked for the return. That's bent cleverly around behind Lawrence, who had to react smartish to get in front of Fran Kirby. Good turn of pace. And the Ontario-born defender.
It was a good decision from Alex Greenwood to turn, and good movement from Fran Kirby to get in behind. Probably one of the first First opportunity, someone's kind of stretched the play. And the ball's been put down the sides.
Nikita Parris has it on the right-hand side. Now Daly looks for Bethany England. Cut out by Sadorski. When England move forward, it's quite interesting at the moment that Alex Greenwood is moving infield. And that's opened up a space for Kemp. She's dropped back out now wide towards this near touchline to receive. Needful is to get it onto Hemp, and Lawrence is there once again. Bronze winning medalist team in 2016. On the way to Tokyo with the squad again. Scored a couple in qualifying, did Lawrence, the right back, can play further forward. Gwynn nearly gave that away, ricocheted off her. Played each other 13 times, these two countries. This would be a 7th Canadian win. England have won 7. There's never been a draw between the two. Lawrence. By Desiree Scott. And that team beaten by England in 2016. Karen Barty, if she comes on, will be, I think, the only player who played that day would be in the England squad today. Well, apart from Karen, who's up here with me. And you were taken off right at the end of that game. You were against Canada. You were replaced by Casey Stoney. Oh, it's a good ball up there towards Diane Rose. Bent in right behind the England defence. Away it goes, hit by Quinn. And pushed over by Carly Telford, who had to make the save.
It's good technique from Quinn. Difficult one. Kept an eye on it. She actually side-footed it. I think it was a comfortable save for Carly Telford. No messing around. Just going to deal with it, push it over the bar, straight at her.
Was bending, pushed it over.
It's a good, comfortable save from Carly.
The lowdown on that save from Rachel at half-time. And swung away from the England goal. And it goes from Hemp. Played back in by the right back Lawrence, and England eventually get it out towards Nikita Parris. Hasn't seen a great deal of the ball, Nikita Parris. Five minutes left in the half. Lobbed out wide to Greenwood, dropped short. It wasn't the best of passes by Jordan Nobbs. But here's Leah Williamson. Spreading the play then towards Rachel Daly. Nice in field to Fran Kirby. The plan is to give her 45 minutes or maybe a little bit more. And then Casey Stoney's tune will come on from Manchester United. I think she was brought on that day against Japan in the quarter-final, Casey, just to add a little bit of flair, a little bit of attacking flair. What do you think?
I'm sure she'll tell us about it at half-time. I'll be looking forward to that from her.
Yeah, it's going to be a throw to Canada. Oof, that was a painful one. Oh, the thud there. Covered a lot of ground today. Here's Georgia Stanway. It's Kira Walsh, by the way, the shin pads player.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
I read it the other day. She's worn the same shin pads for a number of years.
I hope she's washed them.
Okay, Georgia Stanway. Here's Ashley Lawrence for Canada. So they venture down this right-hand side. Becky. Really talented player, such is the strength of Manchester City's side. She hasn't been a regular from the start, but as we're saying, she is having a little bit of a spell now on the side. Scored in the cup final back in the autumn. It was held over from last season. Means onside. No VAR here, but the assistant referee was right up with the play. Now Paris. 3 minutes left in the first half. One of the great statues in English football is outside this ground. As you walk up to the ground, Gordon Banks stands proudly. Wonderful goalkeeper and lovely man. Perhaps I was gazing too fondly at that. I certainly was on the phone too much, so I walked from the hotel. I was only 200 yards to the ground. I wasn't really paying attention where I was going, Karen. And I knew the stadium had to be on my left-hand side. I kept on my left-hand side, head down in the phone. All of a sudden, there was a beep. I'd walked out onto a dual carriageway.
Wow.
It was a silly thing to do, wasn't it? There were a fair few people out this end. Why did one of the cars hit you?
No, don't be like that.
There he is. The England right back, Alex Greenwood. Hemp for the chance to roll inside to try and check out wide. It comes to Bethany England. Good pace to get there and strength. And in the end, off balance. Shot wide. Zadorsky may have just done enough in the end then.
And again, good build-up on this left-hand side, Lauren Hemp. It's good movement from Beth England because she peels off the shoulder and then peels in front. But I think just her first touch then slightly caught her off balance. And then she was just off for the shot, but her movement to get into that position was good. And there she just loses her balance slightly onto her left foot.
She needs a run of games in the Chelsea side. She's not going to get them with the form of Harder and Kirby and Kerr up front. There's a watching brief more or less these days. Impact substitute. Starts as something of a rarity. Lawrence plays back and tidying up once again Giles. Done well, the two Canadian centre-backs. Coming up to half-time. Karen, what have England done well and what have England not done well?
I think, obviously, they've got slightly outrunning the midfield and the early mistake, but other than that, I think they have had a few chances. I think Jordan Nobbs hitting the crossbar, key from set plays. I thought Georgia Stanway's been really bright trying to get on the ball. But I just think Canada have probably outnumbered England in the midfield, so we haven't really seen enough of Fran Kirby, not because she hasn't tried. She's been getting into good positions, but England haven't found her, and we haven't found our key plays in Nikita Paris and enough from Lauren Hemp. So I just think we need to get that midfield kind of sorted out a little bit more, because Canada are overloading them in there and it's been difficult to try and get some comfortable possession and more rhythm.
That was Greenwood isolated there with a Manchester City teammate, foul Beckett. Carly Telford as we enter 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of the half. Barking out orders to that England line, a high line. Dean's trying to make the run in there. Becky will take the free kick herself. Getting a little look around the corner. That's a good delivery towards that far post area. And it was a decent leap as well in there. It was St. Charles who got up. Didn't make any contact in the end. It's a Canada throw at the end of all that. Couldn't quite get high enough. 1.70 m tall. He's the player from Châteauguay in Quebec. Well, she did get high enough, she just misjudged it in the air.
Yeah, it was a good clearance from Rachel Daly at the back post. Done enough to get it away. It's about managing this situation now. 30 seconds before half-time, get yourself in, regroup. It's key in management again at tournaments, which I'm sure the women in punditry will be able to explain at half-time.
Yes, we look forward to hearing their views at half-time. What will Hegarisa have to say to her team? Got off to a very bad mistake when Evelyn Veens scored her second international goal for Canada in the space of 4 days after sloppy work back inside the England penalty area by Demi Stokes. But apart from that, they've had one more effort, a Quinn shot that was saved easily by Carly Telford. We don't think she's going to reappear for the second half. Could be a chance for Karen Barlow, so we'll wait and see what happens in the second half. But meanwhile, Alex, back to you with England trailing by 1 goal to 0. Canada score after 2 minutes and 35 seconds. shot from range. Nobbs takes it. Oh, net wrap on the top of the bar.
Yes, on a day of celebration for women's football for the Barclays FA WSL, the celebrations are on hold at the moment, Casey, for the Lionesses. Thoughts on the first half?
I think that Canada have caused England problems tactically, and England haven't adjusted. So it gives them half time now how they adjust. They're creating overloads in midfield because Canada are playing with a double pivot, but England are playing with a double pivot, and no one's coming out to deal with that. So it's almost a 4v2 against the centre forwards, and I'll go over that in a minute in terms of the analysis. But I think they'll be disappointed. I don't think they've had great passages of play or kept the ball, and I think, if I'm honest, Canada have dominated the first half.
Well, Rachel, going into a game, you always concentrate in trying to stay first 5 minutes, you know, do the things right, play your first ball, but a nightmare start for England.
Yeah, you don't want to get bogged down too much with any tactical, looking at the other team and what they're going to bring. Just focus on your individual role, and absolutely, it didn't go to plan. It was the basics. When we probably see the clip, it's debatable whether it's offside. I think it probably is offside, but it comes down to basic errors. Demi Stokes here, she's facing kind of the wrong way, gets inside of the play, but it's that touch, isn't it, that takes into the path of the player. It's disjointed defending again, like we saw on Friday.
Casey, on there right now, by the letter of the law, I can't believe I'm saying that standing right here as a former player, the letter of the law, she's been given onside because it's not an offence to stand in an offside position.
Yeah, but
go away with your frustration right now.
I would be raging as a manager if that goal was given, because Demi has to play the ball because of the position of the forwards. So she has to get a touch. And as soon as she gets a touch, then she becomes active. No, obviously Demi can shift it on quicker, but she doesn't know she's offside. So for me, it's how she can be deemed as not interfering, because Demi has to play the ball. You know, you look here. It's played through. She's 2 yards. Demi looks, sees her. She has to take the touch. She's still offside, and now she's involved in the play. So she's involved in that passage of play all throughout. So, listen, maybe I don't know the rules of the game anymore.
Interesting enough, though, straight after that, goalkeeper Carly Telford running and picking Demi up to get her mind straight back in the game, Rachel.
Yeah, well, that early on, it's and knowing, we talked about it pre-match, didn't we? The pressure, Demi Stokes coming in, and it's pretty much a head-to-head with her and Alex Greenwood, and to do that in the first few minutes, or to be a part of that kind of series of mistakes that led to an early goal, could have potentially not killed the confidence, but you know, you can't afford any momentary lapses of concentration, certainly at the back. I know that as a goalkeeper. So to pick her up was the right thing to do, and Carly's got an old head on her shoulders.
And Casey, you think actually there's more for England to do in this?
Yeah, I think listen, it's 4v2 all the time because they've got a double pivot too deep. They're able to play through the lines. They're playing with a false nine as well. Viens is coming off. Centre-backs aren't coming with her, and they're just creating overloads in midfield. One of the centre-backs has got to be prepared to step out sometimes with that false nine and go three at the back so they can cover that. I think if they can sort out Jordan or Georgia Stanway coming out and dealing with one of the two, they'll have more chance in the first phase of defending. Otherwise, the two centre-forwards have got no chance 4v2.
We've created a couple of opportunities, nothing really much. Jordan from the free kick, Rachel.
Yeah, it's a decent strike, but as a keeper you'd expect to save that. I mean, she does well to get it up and down over the wall from that close range. But I think England would have expected more. I think the recognition of, you know, Jordan and Georgia are relatively new to playing holding midfields, like sat in front of the back four. But so you've got to recognise that. Georgia's played for a long, long time now at senior international level. I'm not blaming her, but is it a consequence of, you know, Steph Houghton's not behind them to kind of maybe pass on that instruction? It's clear for us to see up here, but those two getting caught flat is just playing into the hands of Canada.
And I think in possession, Canada are dropping their nine in and playing a diamond, 4-4-2 press. So when they play a diamond, England have got to find a way to get it out to their full-backs quick. That's where the spaces are. You've got to play down the sides quick, and then you can get the likes of Paris and Hemp on the ball 1v1, and you can get the team up the pitch more.
Okay, so it's 1-0 to Canada here at the Bet365 Stadium. But leaving international football aside just for the moment, because today officially marks the 10-year anniversary of the Barclays Women's Super League. Fadamu Olo, social media editor of The Telegraph Women's Sport, shares her thoughts on just how far the game has come over the past decade.
Some famous names, some familiar faces. Women's Super League.
10 years ago, the Barclays FA Women's Super League began right here at Imperial Fields. On the 13th of April 2011, Jill Flaherty scored in this goal to take Arsenal to a 1-0 victory over Chelsea.
The teenager scores the first goal of the new Women's Super League.
8 teams took part in that inaugural season, and since then we've had plenty of relegation drama and edge of our seats moments.
What a goal! What a strike!
Seeing Rachel Yankee with her braids and oversized kit is a look that I tried to copy growing up. The WSL has become the most exciting league, welcoming talent from all over the world. Remember World Cup legends Carly Lloyd and Crystal Dunn? But homegrown talent has equally climbed the ranks and been inspired by early pioneers of the league. Steph Horton, Danielle Carter and Farrah Williams are just some of the early trailblazers who until this day are still involved in the league. The WSL has the power to inspire. Just look at Manchester City's Georgia Stanway. She was inspired by her then hero Lucy Bronze, who has now become a teammate at both England and Manchester City. Now what a story that is.
I remember this so vividly. I remember we was preparing for the Under-17s World Cup. I remember exactly where I was sat. I was sat in the back right-hand corner. And when I come in and I seen them, I was getting all red and all nervous. And I didn't ask a question. I waited until the very end and then I got called out.
Georgia Stanway, I can't believe you haven't asked us a question.
And I remember asking the worst possible question.
Obviously, like, food is a massive thing and we love food. So how do you cope when you go to different countries and the food's not great?
I remember thinking I could have asked anything here to try and help my football, and I ended up asking that.
As the league continues to grow, so does the demand. 10 years of coaches, players and behind-the-scenes work has laid the foundations for the best league in the world. A league that's travelled all over the country, where teams have brought record crowds to Premier League stadiums, Stamford Bridge, Villa Park and the Amex. The Manchester Derby took centre stage at the Etihad. And it was here last season that a record-breaking crowd of over 38,000 fans showed up to a fiery North London derby. The next 10 years promises to be just as exciting. With a groundbreaking multi-million-pound investment in TV rights to the league, women's football will be everywhere. We are bringing women's football to a new digital age. As someone that gets to work in the greatest league in the world, we are bringing TikTok trends to the office. A new generation of players are using social media as their platform to connect with fans. They stand up for what they believe in and inspire people up and down the country to support women's football. Gone are the days of being grateful. Sportswomen are here because they deserve the best. The WSL is elite, entertaining and competitive. Week in, week out, the best talent in the world graces our pitches. We've got plenty to look forward to, including a home Euros in 2022. Here's to the next 10 years and beyond.
Our thanks to Imperial Fields and Tottenham Hotspur for letting us film that piece with Fadamu just there. And it is a pleasure right now to be joined by the FA's Director Women's of Football, Baroness Sue Campbell. Sue, thank you for joining us. Going off that piece, there is a real celebration around women's football at the moment. And obviously with the groundbreaking deal, TV broadcasting deal, why is it such a watershed moment for women's football in this country?
Well, I think, you know, the game has been built on the back of a lot of pioneers. There's 3 of you here today, you know, who played the game when there wasn't any money, there wasn't any profile, and where it's come in the last 10 years is just phenomenal. And certainly when we took the decision to go to a full-time professional league, that was a big step forward. Then Barclays coming in, another huge step forward in terms of commercial rights. And now the broadcast rights, which will give us fantastic opportunities to view. We hope inspiring a whole generation of youngsters to want to play the game. With great role models on the pitch, it's a fantastic moment for us all, I think.
And then Casey, for you, with your manager's hat on, what does it do for you and your club?
I think visibility and awareness, you know, it raises that visibility to the game, which in turn hopefully brings more investment back into the game, which means we can have more resource, better facilities, more wages in the players' pockets, and we can improve the game on and off the pitch.
And then talking about improving too, because there is where it's a celebration, but there's still so many steps to go and push this game forward. With the news coming out recently, what happened around Birmingham City, their players talking out about their treatment. We know it's moving forward, but what more needs to be done so that stuff doesn't happen anymore?
Well, we're on a journey, aren't we? And where we'd come to is really exciting. But we're, as I say, we've stopped off at one of the service stations. We've still a long way to go with the journey. And you're right, we don't want any players to be disrespected, and we want players to have great facilities, great coaches, great opportunities to play. And when clubs have difficulty, our job at the FA is to get alongside them and try and sort those out, which is what we're doing. But where are we going? Well, you know, the ambition has got to be produce the greatest league in the world for our international and domestic players playing alongside each other in a great league, to attract even more commercial sponsorship. And not too far away, probably a little further down the line, perhaps 2 more broadcast deals, create a sustainable, self-sustaining league. That's got to be the ambition, so that this women's game is not just here, you know, in a sense, sponsored by men's teams, but can stand on its own feet and actually stand proudly as you know, the great game it is, alongside other games that we have in this country.
And you mentioned opportunity as well. All 3 of us were standing here having a moment just before the game. Me in this role, Casey as a manager, you've got Rachel as pundit, Kaz up there as well, all former Lioness players. Is it actually more just about the players that we're seeing on the field? It's creating opportunities all around the women's game.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Lionesses are the pinnacle, aren't they, still? But the work that's gone on with people like Casey in the Super League is just fantastic. You know, we're seeing the standard go up. And if we can get the product on the field strong, and that's got to be our #1 priority, to invest in the people around the players to get the best out of our players, to get the product stronger, then we're going to get more commercial investment, and we're going to get better and better broadcast, because people want to see highly competitive games. That's what excites people.
It sure is. Well, Sue, thank you for joining us. Plenty
Pleasure.
to celebrate. But just before we go back to the second half, it's time to update you on the Euro 2022 playoffs happening today. Russia sealed their place in next year's Euros following their 1-0 win over Portugal earlier today, becoming the 14th team to qualify. It's 1-1 in the game between Czech Republic and Switzerland. The tournament, of course, is here in England, so they qualify as hosts. And in the final second leg Euro 2022 playoff between Northern Ireland and the Ukraine being played tonight in Belfast, it's currently 0-0, around 30 minutes into first half in that one. So that's it from us. We will see you after the game. It's time to hand you right back to your commentary team for the second half. It's former England and Chelsea midfielder Karen Carney alongside Jonathan Pearce.
Thanks very much, Alex. Well, we wait to see whether or not those England substitutes we predicted will take place. Karen Barty was certainly warming up during the whole of the half-time interval, and it looks as if she will be coming on. I can't see Ella Toone out there for the moment. Don't think there have been any changes for Canada, who certainly looked authoritative in that first half, with Desiree Scott and Quinn at the heart of their midfield playing so well and denying England. And here come the England changes now, and there is Ella Toone, so she will be coming on for England for her second international, and Karen Bardsley as well. Again, this was planned that Toone would replace Fran Kirby and that Bardsley would come on for her 55th international, but her first since the World Cup finals, when she was injured after the first 4 games. And Ella Toone comes on for Fran Kirby. Now, that'll be a proud moment for Casey watching on. One of her players takes the field of play, from a Manchester City player, of course, and at Manchester United now. She started at Manchester United, didn't have a team then, and has gone back to them and done very, very well as they tore up into the WSL. And for a long period this season, we're at the top of the table and certainly are challenging for a Champions League place next season. And Karen Bardsley, we know all about her, and Karen Carney would have been the same side with her when in World Cup 15 she was injured against Canada. You remember in Vancouver, suddenly she picked up an eye injury. It was an infection from something from the pitch, wasn't it? The surface on the pitch. She played no further part in that competition. So England will kick us off in the second half then. And I'll ask Karen as soon as we get going what Ella Toone can bring to the side. Perhaps they missed in that first half. Off we go then. The Lionesses all in white, trailing by a goal to nil with 45 minutes to go. Your thoughts on Ella Toone?
Like you said, I think Casey Stoney will be ecstatic that one of her players is into the second half. She's nippy, she's good with her feet, left and right, can get a goal. I like her that she makes these kind of third man runs. She arrives in the box, good timing, right time, right place, right time, sorry. I really enjoy watching her in that number 10 role.
I think she's developed physically as well. I think at Manchester United, Casey and her team have worked on that side of the game. When they first came at the WSL, I thought she was a little bit short of that physicality, but during lockdown she worked very hard on that side of her game, I gather, and she takes the place of Fran Kirby.
Straight away you see her, she's on the ball there, but her movement in behind was really good. They didn't give her the ball, but she checked her run again. But her game intelligence is very, very good, and I think, as everyone alluded to in the first half, Canada really flood that central midfield role, so she's going to have to use her intelligence about coming into different areas where she can be free to pick the ball up.
Stanway was put under pressure there with the pass. Jordan Nobbs now finds Rachel Daly. She's clipped by Janine Becky, and that's going to be a free kick. Pat on the back of Rachel Daly by the Manchester City player, and on we go. What about Karen Bargin? That must have been a very strange moment for you over there in Vancouver when she suddenly went down with that injury, because it came from nothing.
It did. At first I thought she was kind of managing the game and taking her time. 60,000 people there and a really hostile environment, and and then we saw her eye and it was heavily inflamed. But Siobhan Chamberlain came on and did really, really well, but I think it was a surprise to us all, but the result was the main thing. Karen Bardsey was superb then for the rest of the tournament, as well as was Siobhan Chamberlain.
Plays her football back in the States at the moment with the Reign Club. Going out to Quinn. Now passing in midfield has been very tight with Desiree Scott in there alongside them. And there is Quinn once again. Good combination back there. Double pivot, as Casey was describing it in the first half. Great analysis. We thought up here, and central midfield players, you might know them as, whatever the terminology there. Those players are playing very well in that heart of that Canadian midfield, aren't they? That pairing.
I think Bev Priestman's got that midfield spot on. They're working very hard, causing England some problems in their movement. But I think, hopefully a half-time team talk from Hege Riise might have sorted that out, but losing the ball in these type of areas.
Rose. And there it goes here then towards Fleming. Didn't catch it properly. He's got a decent scoring record for Canada with 11 goals. Scored against Wales. Special goal for Bev Priestman's side. Helped out, by the way, by someone who used to work with the English FA. Another person who used to work with the English FA, Richie Kyle, is alongside Bev Priestman these days. Bev took over from Kenneth Heine-Moller. He, decent coach with a good reputation, went back to the Danish FA. He's coaching coaches now.
Seen in the second half, JP, that Jordan Nobbs is actually getting a lot higher up. Her and Ella Toone are kind of chopping and changing. Ella Toone will come back in that centre midfield role and Jordan Nobbs will go in advance. I think England missed that threat and behind, and maybe Hege Riise said to her, Jordan Nobbs, I need you to make those bigger runs, bigger distances, because that's what she's been renowned for throughout her career, Jordan Nobbs.
Georgia Stanway hasn't done a bad job at all today, in that deep line midfield role. And with Team GB in mind, it could be that a Stanway will take the place of a Walsh, their teammates at club level. It could come down to that. I think there's going to be some big names who do miss out. Hege Riise having to do the double jobs. It's tricky for her, really. Proving England and getting a Team GB together with Daly. Nikita Parris is wide. Pushed on by Toone. Nobbs has it now for England. Daly. And a Toone. Parris. Good combination. And Stonking challenge went in there by Alicia Chapman. It's a corner kick to England, but she rushed across and covered the distance very well. Chapman been around the international scene for 7 years now. She's experienced, read that well. But it is an England corner. They're right on the edge of the penalty area. Beth England is there as well. Leah Williamson has come up. Paris is on the penalty spot area. Is coming short. Greenwood will take it left-footed then. And not a great test in the end for Stephanie Labbe, who was unopposed and made a comfortable catch.
I think it may be one for a short corner. I'm just looking at the England side and seeing Airily, who's a big presence in there. We have Millie Bright, of course, and Beth England, but I think most of our players are quite nimble and tricky, so a short corner might be on.
Here's Toon. Good turn from her. Anne Run, Anne Hemp into the D. Across the face of the Canadian defence. Chipped into the box by Nobbs. Oh, it was a decent header by Bethany England because it came at her with a standing jump, really. It's twisted her head, powerful neck muscles, but too near the goalkeeper again.
It's a much better start from England. You know, getting more players higher up the pitch, moving the ball 1 and 2 touch it right. It was a difficult one for Bethany England there because she had to lean back and try and get some power on the header. But again, I really like how they're getting bodies forward. Jordan Nobbs in that higher role, getting some support up there to Bethany England.
Get out from the back for England. Look for Toon. Now Nobbs. Bethany England was on the shoulder of the last defender, Giles. Cleared away. Once again, Desiree Scott tidies up in that midfield area for Canada. Kansas City player from Winnipeg in Canada. A good strong hour against Wales. Quinn. They can play at centre back or heart of midfield for Canada. Another versatile player is Quinn. Here's Greenwood. 2 up front for England. In here to Bethany England. Pull ball into her feet really when she was in a tight space, being marked so tightly. And here's Lawrence breaking out from the back. And she's given it away there, but was fouled. And stayed down. Another one who's been around the scene for a long, long time. 8 years since she made a debut in a 1-0 away win in China. She got the goal that day. Kelly warming up for England, Ellen White warming up for England. Good turn by Quinn. And here's Lawrence once again. And he's there in support. And Greenwood nicks it away.
Tidy player, Quinn. Very tidy, as you said, versatile. Moves it 1 and 2 touch. Playing different roles. Deep line midfield today at times. Gets out to the diamond as well, very good.
Beth Priestman says she can play them as a centre back. Here's Daly trying to get into that central area of the Canadian defence. Nice cover there once again, that Zadorsky it was, on the line by Jan Rose. England steady in possession, but how many chances are they creating? Daly. She's looked lively since she came on a tune. Oh, she can score goals too. She scored 5 in a game for Manchester United, I seem to remember. Leicester, wasn't it, in a Continental Cup time a while back? Regular scorer for United, that's for certain. Here's Rose. Strong there, and purposeful, hugging the line. Throw to England.
I do think the shift in mindset as well and the slight tactical tweak has really helped England. You know, Jordan Nobbs is a lot higher, you can clearly see that. And allowing her just to run and press, that's her game, energy, getting into people, running, making those runs in behind, and then it leaves pocket spaces for people like Ella Toon to come in, and that's when they can create overloads. So Again, nice little position from Jordan there, and this is the out now. This is where England get their joy.
Hemp rolls in off that line. Bounces back towards Greenwood. Such a shame that the red seats of the Bet365 are empty. The booth and end away to our left-hand side. Roared out support for Stoke over the years, and it would have been a big crowd here tonight, I fancy, for Lionesses' home game. Just a little header on. And the clearance is headed out by the Lyon striker, and it's going to be a throw to Canada. It took a long while for the Canadian players to come in with all the protocol. I was watching them actually quite closely as their identity cards were checked and so on, and their COVID checks were again run the rule on the COVID test. And looking at that Brighton Hove Albion programme last night, Paul Barber there, the chief exec, was explaining what it's going to take to get fans back into the grounds, and it will take a long time, so be mindful of that when you are going back into grounds, hopefully at the end of the season. Get there very early, because there will be all sorts of checks, quite rightly so. That's a lovely drop of the shoulder by Stanway. An excellent game for England. Wasn't an excellent ball, or was it? And she sets Hemp off in chase of Lawrence, and she closed down quickly on the goalkeeper. Lawrence had work to do, and goodness me, she did it excellently as well.
Like I said, I think this is a learning lesson for Lauren Hemp. Lawrence is a very, very good right back, and you've got to recognise in the game early doors, what is my full-back strengths, how can I exploit them? And I think a foot racing behind is probably not going to be the one for tonight for Lauren Hemp, so she's got to be smart and learn different movements and add that to a game.
And Rose for Canada. Right-footed cross, missed by Millie Bright, missed by Williamson, and cleared away there then at the back by Greenwood. As Millie Bright and Leah Williamson misjudged it. Good run in the side for Leah Williamson. She's been involved in 12 in a row now. It's her best spell as an England player. And the missing Steph Horton, of course, still out with an Achilles problem. There is Leah Williamson. And really, since World Cup 19, Phil Neville, indeed, Hegarisa have not had a full-strength England side to pick from, and Veens was nearly in behind there. And it was scrambled away in the end by Stanway for England. Which plays it back to Daly. It is a factor, I think, over the last, what are we talking about now, nearly 2 years, Karen, that one or two players have been missing from most squads all the way through, key players as well.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Steph Horton, England captain. You miss that player in possession, but you miss that leader as well. And I think the back four is consistent. I remember speaking to someone about the US national team, how they constantly wanted their best 11, their back four in particular, playing together on a regular basis, because you need to build those relationships. And if England haven't had that over the course of 2 years, it's been difficult.
There's Rose. Back to Chapman. They've got two substitutes ready to come on. Jordan Heitemer, who's a forward, is about to come on for Canada. Another player down the way to come on is Nichelle Prince, another forward as well. And here come the changes then. I think Deanne Rose will be one of the players who goes off, and she will be replaced by Nichelle Prince, who has pace and directness. Good player, good young player. And goes the goal scorer as well. Jordan Heitemer plays for PSG in French football. He was at the World Cup finals of 2019. She's done well in qualifying for the Olympics, by the way. She scored 7 goals in qualifying, Heitemer. Watch out for her. And Nichelle Prince plays for the Dash, teammate of Rachel Daly there in the USA. It's a goal kick, surely. Prince is appealing otherwise. You might remember her from the World Cup final. She had a few cameo roles from the bench, scored against New Zealand. That was her last international goal. Part of the team that won the Challenge Cup in 2020 before US women's football was shut down through the COVID pandemic. The most valuable player in that tournament, I think, was Rachel Daly. And that goes on from Karen Bardsley. been a place for Manchester City this season. They're starting up. Young Ellie Roebuck kept out, so she's gone over to Reign to play football in the US. Here's Knops. Nearly down the line. Lucy Bronze is getting ready to come on for England. So lots of changes now. Prince gets the cross in, away by Millie Bright. Lioness fans would be delighted to see the player voted the FIFA Best Women's Player of the Year. Come on, Lucy Bronze. As Millie Bright does the organising back there again. Marsley's so experienced in that England goal. Quinn is in that 6-yard area. Beyond Quinn, headed away to the edge of the penalty area. Underneath that then was Hent. Good pressure by Toon on Scott. And she done well under pressure to keep hold of possession for Canada. And they come again here. Cross into the middle of the England defence. Missed again, misjudged in the middle in the air. And eventually it's launched away by Paris. Bright and Daly both missed that in the air for England. Now it's Fleming. Desiree Scott been immensely strong in there for Canada. Giles has it. And that should be all the way through. Williamson for England. 2. Greenwood, who came on after half an hour for Demi Stokes. Most of the England changes. Time is ticking away. They can't get it out of their own half at the moment. England dropping deep. And trying to find Nikita Paris. I think England would have seen that Ellen White is warming up. The initial plan was that there would be 6 substitutes. On the line by Chapman for Canada. Once again, Quinn is there. They bypass Quinn and Scott. This is a good piece of football again by Stanway. Overran it in the end. England tried a dummy. And as a team, England thought that was a foul. Nothing given though. Can Canada play out? It'll be interesting to see that one again. And they've got a chance here on the counter. Prince looking for support to arrive. Heitema's in the middle and comes across and easily dealt with by Bardsley. Securely dealt with by Bardsley actually.
Seeing if this was a foul on Jordan Nobbs. She certainly felt it was. Referee, no. And then England then open to the transition, but it was really good play from England. Nice little over from Bethany England. I'm not sure there was enough in it to warrant the foul. But again, I really liked how England had bodies forward. 1 and 2 touch, nice play around the 18-yard box.
Paris couldn't control it, and England will make the double change now. Lucy Bronze has picked up that knock with Manchester City. It's been a busy period with them, WSL and Champions League. But she will replace on the right-hand side of the England defence, Rachel Daly. And Chloe Kelly comes on for Bethany England.
Noticing that Nikita Paris has now gone into that centre-forward role. I really think England now, you've seen on the sideline as well, is that her? Pointing to going behind, turn Canada a little bit more. We need some runners in behind. You've seen the difference that Jordan Nobbs is doing by running in behind, and more from Nikita Paris. That was quite tough evening for Beth England just because of the overload in midfield. She didn't see enough of the ball.
Prince. Good run up from the fullback. Lawrence had a very powerful display for Canada today. Really good free running display from the right fullback. Across in the middle. Has forced the corner kick. Intelligent runs from her all night long. And Bronze tidied it up. They're not looked comfortable with the ball in the air. Around about the 6-yard area. It's not a new failing for the Lionesses over the last 18 months. Bronze tried to get the clearance away first time. And then tried to dribble it away. Is that a foul there? Well, certainly Canada felt that Becky was impeded. England go on. Hemp. She felt she was impeded. Nikita Parris certainly was. And eventually the free kick is given for the challenge by Jessie Fleming. So England have a free kick here with 25 to go.
It's about 3 fouls there, I think, JP. England eventually got one. I think it was this one on Nikita Parris, yeah, just come in there. Jessie Fleming, had a nice little battle, those two.
Jade Riviere is going to come on for Canada. She plays for the Michigan Wolverines at university. And she will come on for Canada, leading by a 1-0 to replace Desiree Scott, who's been immense at the heart of their midfield. Riviera can play as a central midfield player or more comfortable as a right back, and she's gone out there to a right full-back position, can play as a right midfielder as well. Only a 20th game for Canada. Prince was fouled. It has been competitive, it's friendly international, but it has been competitive. Maybe going back to London 2012 when Canada beat Team GB, going back to that game Karen played in Vancouver when England knocked the hosts out of the World Cup at the quarter-final stage. Not been nasty, but it has been competitive, that's for sure. Parsley comes a long way, didn't get there. Chipped back into the middle for Canada by Jordan Haytema.
Again, that's why Lucy Bronze is the best at positioning here, just to get it away, and earlier when she needed it out for a corner, that's where you want her to be. Karen Bardsey didn't look slightly convincing, and your defender's there to back you up. Lucy Bronze
Buffeted into her own player, Minnie Bright. Good communication back there, perhaps. And a kick for Canada in towards the near post area. It was by Becky, who stayed wide on the left-hand side, but England will run it away here now. This is a powerful drive. Typical Jordan Nobbs run this. What a run by Jordan Nobbs. Good carry, intelligent ball into the middle. Can they finish it in there? It was a lovely run up in support by Toon, but they couldn't get the shot away. That is Jordan Nobbs at her very best.
absolute brilliant from Jordan Nobbs, picking the ball up, being decisive, running with it at large distance. Credit to Toon as well, and Lauren Hemp busting her gut to get in there, but look, she's picking it up on the edge of her 18, and one thought, I'm going to run you. That's to the space. You see Lauren Hemp, Toon in the far left-hand side. It was a right ball as well, just not enough on it, and it's difficult for Toon, but much better from England.
One of our BBC commentary team in the World Cup finals in 2019 was Jordan Nobbs. She was out injured, of course, and you remember that day when all the Lionesses went across. They saw her in the commentary position, all went across. It was great, really. It was wonderful to see, very touching. It means a lot to the group, I think, Jordan, because she's had so much pain, you know, missed out on Canada, just played the one game there, missed out on France completely.
Yeah, it's really difficult for a player missing out on big tournaments, and she's a big character and has been in the squad for a very long time now.
Free kick here for Canada. Will Williamson with a little nudge. Foul on Lawrence. She's such a willing worker on that side. They'll take their time over this. To go away from England with another victory, having won in Manchester in April of 2019. Posted to that far post area. Again, it's a Canadian head on it. Shot was blocked in there for England, and eventually I think it was Williamson who got the block in, and she clears it away again. Fleming's played well for Canada, unsung sort of role for her. Up to Quinn, but couldn't control it. There's Kelly, 7th international for England. Most have come from the bench. They've given it away. The cross overcooked though. And through it goes, and out of play for a goal kick for England. Too much pace on the cross from Nichelle Prince.
I think Lucy Bronze-Edge didn't check her shoulder. Coming on sometimes as a sub. You know, at 60 minutes the game's very quick. Just need to adjust that, but she'll know she needs to be a bit tidier in possession in her own half. But look, she's one of the world's best players, so I'm sure the next one will be significantly better.
Quinn, the first time they've played a teammate into a little bit of pressure there. It was Lawrence who had work to do. Not too often has Quinn misplaced a pass. "20 minutes to go." Confidence in the Lionesses grew in that World Cup finals of those World Cup finals of 2015, and then the crescendo of public support in France 2019. And though this is a period of non-competitive football until the World Cup qualifiers start for England, and we do have a Team GB Olympics coming up, the public perception of England's ability as a top nation in the world is diminishing, Karen. It is a worry, with defeats coming, back-to-back defeats in friendly matches. Is that a concern for you? Is it a concern for the group?
No, not for me. I think I've always said it for a long time, and I think I said it to you yesterday. You're judged as a player, as a manager, at international tournaments, and you see in friendlies. This is an opportunity for Hegarisa to test her players. I'm sure if you asked her, probably at times, has she been able to pick her main starting 11, she might say yes or no. But you're judged at international tournaments. You're judged at what you win. And I think that's where you should always be. That's where the margins are, really. So it hasn't been great, the results. We can't deny that. But I think that the proof will come in terms of the Olympics and at Euro 2022.
Here's Toon. Played well since she came on at half-time. Stroked the ball away towards Hemp, up through the gears. Decent cross, flash through the penalty area. So Kelly has kept it in, and here's Lucy Bronze. One of the best moments of the game, that, for England. Bronze checked to her left foot. Lawrence gets it away again, only as far as Toon. She's added an energy in there for England, a front foot energy, is Ella Toon. Really interesting to hear the thoughts of her club manager, Casey Stoney, after the game. Never asked Casey Stoney about the TV quiz Pointless, Karen. Actually won a minute. His hand deflected away for a cross on the far side for England if they can get it in with a throw in first of all. This is a good move by England here.
Yeah, it's good from Hemp. She isolates the full-back, and look, it's a brilliant ball. You're just waiting for that number 9 just to attack it and get a tap in.
Casey and Hope Solo destroyed the opposition in Pointless in a World Cup special. And in the opposition that day, Fran Lasso myself shamefully went out in the first round, and I wish I could blame Lasso, but sadly I can't. The responsibility lay on my shoulders.
Knowing how competitive Casey Stoney is, and also Hope Solo, I think it's fair that you might have lost.
I was frightened. Intimidated. Never been mentioned, of course. Here's Canada in possession, out wide, looking for Becky. What have you made of the WSL players in that Canadian side today? Because supporters of Manchester City and Chelsea and the like, of course, will be interested to hear your thoughts on those two.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Becky. I think it was mentioned in the pre-game how good she is. I think she's very technically good. She's improved physically as well, that side of the game, and she always causes a threat. And I thought Fleming's been very good today. Hasn't really featured that much for Chelsea, but yeah, has been really smart and intelligent and done a good team job.
And Zadorsky at the back, Tottenham player?
Yeah, same again. He's come captain now, and has defended well as a left-sided centre-back. Yeah, I've been impressed, and again, it's fantastic to see WSL players shining on the international stage.
There's the armband, Zadorsky, after Scott went off. There she is. And just digs out a clearance. Had a late shot from a goalkeeper, but didn't take any chances. Shalina Zadorsky gets it away. Here's Bronze. Swept away by Williamson. Yeah, which way will she go this time? It is a straight foot race with Lawrence, and this time she's forced the corner kick.
Again, that's positive play from him. They've changed the fullbacks, and she's recognised that. She sniffs out that she's got the beating of her, gets in there and wins a side of corner.
Only 15 minutes to go. Little flick on by Hem. Zadorsky got it away. Record I was telling you about, Olympic record. She was sent off against Australia in 2016 after 20 minutes. That was a record in that game. Earlier, Janine Becky had scored after 20 seconds. And that's an Olympic record too. Here's Bright. And where's he going here? Again, kind of just drop back off. There's been good positioning by Quinn, just in front of their centre backs.
Again, I'm just watching Toon. She's really good. She's just giving those little angles. Intelligence, her football IQ is really high. You see her position's very, very good to give her teammates good options on the ball. Always wanting it as well. Really like that.
Well, we're playing Champions League football next season with Manchester United. Good tussle developing between United and Arsenal for that slot. 3 teams from the WSL, 10 years old today, go into the Champions League next season. Soon into Nobbs and swept quickly away to Lucy Bronze. Better pace about England now in some of their passing movements. Switch by Williamson. Greenwood to Hem, balanced like a winger. Comes in field. Jordan Nobbs, steady build up here by England. They need an end product on it. Nikita Parris is in the middle. Greenwood. Nothing on at the moment for them, so Nobbs goes back. Williamson within 40 yards of the Canadian goal. Lucy Bronze, really good work by the team in red though. Back 4 holding firm, good protection. And Lawrence has come into a more central midfield role now since they sent on young Riviere. Yeah, one of the youngsters being given a real opportunity by the new manager, and she believes. There's one of the old stages. Chapman back to the goalkeeper. Toon. White's going to come for England. Come on for England. Nikita Parris, I would imagine, it's the most vulnerable there. Bronze. Opportunity here. Nobbs has forced the corner off the Tottenham defender, Zadorsky.
Down this right-hand side from England, they're starting to get numbers around it. Lucy Bronze getting in advance, Jordan Nobbs coming over to this side as well. They're causing some issues for Canada. Looks like they're putting on Ellen White now. I think they are missing that number 9. I think Nikita Parris has done okay in this game, but it's probably not a natural position. As we know, she's a wide player. It'll be good to see Ellen White in that more natural position.
She comes in. So often England's talismanic goal scorer in the last couple of years. Greenwood takes it. It's easy for the goalkeeper, no challenge on her whatsoever. And that will disappoint the England team and the England management team as well, as they look for Ellen White, the 5th highest England scorer of all time, behind Karen Walker, behind Farrah Williams. Well, just one now. Kerry Davis is 4 ahead and Kelly Smith is within sight of Ellen White. Just 7 goals separate the two. Coming on for Canada, I mentioned experience in this squad. Don't forget Christine Sinclair, who's got 297 appearances. She's injured. Well, they're bringing on a mere stripling. Hardly any experience for Sophie Schmidt, just the 202 internationals for Canada. Always remarkable. And here, Hemp has stolen it back, and look at the pace, and look at the charge, and look at the recovering challenge there by Giles, who gave away the ball initially and hurtled back to deny Lauren Hemp. Golden opportunity for an England equaliser.
Tell you what, that is a brilliant block from Giles, but great pressure from Lauren Hemp. Picks it up, could have played Ellen White in, but uses her pace to get past, and you think it's got to be goal. But a great block from Giles. You just see it now with her left leg. Does enough, because that is a golden opportunity there for England.
Brilliant, brilliant recovering challenge to save Canada after the initial error. Corner kick is swept as a foul in there. May well have been Millie Bright as she came forward from the back. Referee was well positioned and has had a good game because it has been competitive. And here comes Schmidt now then, as we watch that one again. It is Millie Bright.
The thing is, I've seen that in training all the time. That's Millie Bright, so it wasn't the first one, so I'm trying to see what it was. I don't think Millie Bright's done anything wrong there.
She shoved into her from the referee's point of view. We've seen Schmidt many times in the past as she makes her way out onto the field for Canada for the 203rd time. Made her debut 16 years ago at the Olympics of 2008, and in London 2012 when she was in the side that beat England, was in the side that lost to England in the quarter-final of World Cup 15. Third highest ever capped Canadian. Another player called Diana Matheson picked up over 200 internationals. Don't forget England on the coaching bench have a Canadian international, Rhian Wilkinson, who's working with Hege Riise. She played nearly 200 times for Canada. Oh, blood on the face there of Lauren Hemp. And that's a nasty gash.
Yeah, it was a really bad clash. Both of them went up for the header, I think. It's not a great one for Lauren Hemp. Just see going up there, both committed, Lauren.
Oh dear.
And Giles both looking at the ball, but looks like Hemp has come out far worse. It's a nasty one. I'm wincing myself watching this back.
Right on the eyebrow. And the medical staff doing their best. Situation where you need a good boxing corner man out there. What will the England management team now say to the England players as they come across for this huddle with Lauren Hemp still down, still getting treatment?
I think they can press more from the front now. There's 10 minutes to go, including this injury. I'd say be a bit more aggressive, be front-footed, keep pressing.
Is that strange for you that she stood back away from the huddle there?
I think her assistant, as you mentioned, former Canadian player, she seems to be doing all the tactical stuff. She might be giving the information, is just watching things back, but as you can see, there is tactical information being put onto the team. She might want to cover that up though, because we can all see the tactics that they're trying to do, and it looked like trying to get as many players centrally as possible.
And Wilkinson, dad born in Denmark, was in the English military, mum Welsh. She was a good sportswoman at Canadian level, played good ice hockey, good rugby player. And Wilkinson, a very good footballer. Olympic bronze in London in 2012. And a bandage for Lauren Hemp. The closing 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'd really like to see England now really press just the final few minutes with a bit more intensity, because I haven't really seen how comfortable Canada are in possession at the back, and they really put them under pressure. You got some really quick, speedy players on for the England side, and you win it higher up and you're closer to goal.
WSL, 10 years old today, and WSL football back next weekend with you on the BBC, on the red button, lunchtime, Sunday, Manchester United against Tottenham. And don't forget, next season, games virtually every week will be live on the BBC in the new deal. It should be fantastic for WSL football. Already it's going around the world with a new deal this season, and worldwide audiences are lapping it up, which can only be good for the English game. What needs to happen for the English game is wins for the Lionesses. They haven't won consecutive matches since they won the round of 16 and quarter-final tie at World Cup 2019. It seems a long time ago. Will get it away. Karen, you've got to pick a player of the match in a couple of minutes. Ooh, good for Karen Barsi. She needs to get it away, and didn't. And Canada had a second goal. It's another nightmarish defensive mistake by England. The back pass short, and Barsi couldn't get it away. And Nichelle Prince nudged it over the line. England 0, Canada 2. Yes, it's only a friendly. It's not competitive, but it's another defeat for the Lionesses.
Again, we talk about football, it's margins and mistakes, and unfortunately, again, this is another mistake. The back pass from Millie Bright, and Karen Barsi just doesn't adjust her feet, and it just allows Prince to come in and press. Touch there, it is a tight touch, but you can't have it 2 yards out from your own goal. You can't open your hips up and allow Prince to get in there and just nick it. It's a mistake from England again, and it's cost them in the opening minutes of the first half and now in the latter stages of the second half. And you feel for Karen Barsi, just coming to the side, and you're thinking, feel for her.
Her first international since those World Cup finals in France. Nichelle Prince's first goal since those World Cup finals in France when she netted against New Zealand. And it's England 0, Canada 2. A free kick goes England way for the challenge on Toon. Now you're looking for positives at this stage of the game. You've also got to name a player of the match in a moment, Karen. And I'll get an ear bashing from the director because I was supposed to remind you of that beforehand and I forgot. But anyway, positives, let's think positive. Toon, a positive for England in this second half, you think?
Toon has been positive. I think Stanway's probably been the best player for England. I think Lauren Hemper's had good patches, but I think defensively, I think Canada did well against her. I think the bravest player for me today was Georgia Stanway. You know, playing in a different role, different position. I've been impressed with her. So yeah, I think she would be
player of the match.
Player of the match for me, yeah.
Georgia Stanway, Lionesses player of the match for Karen Carney. Who was a wonderful footballer for the Lionesses. And England over the years, same thing, but they were known better as England, really. Would you agree with that? The Lionesses thing is a relatively new thing.
It's a bit of a brand name. I still think England women moving forward, one team. But yeah, but thinking about another positive, Jordan Nobbs in the attacking role, pushing further forward has been good. As you said, Toon coming in, I think I keep mentioning her intelligence to get into good positions. They've been positives as well. It's just a game management from England, you know, early on in the game in this latter part. Could that pass, did it need to go back to Karen Bardsley? Maybe not. Could it have gone forward? But these are lessons learned that you would rather have in a friendly than in an international match where there's really something on it.
This is a good move by England. Hemp to Nobbs and out wide to Bronze, and back it goes to Jordan Nobbs. She's had a shot on goal. Patted down, but look at Lucy Bronze hurtling in there just in case anything came loose. That's a bit more like the old England of a couple of years back.
Yeah, really good long-range shot from Jordan Nobbs. She sees the opportunity, and you're right, even seeing Lucy Bronze a lot higher up in the pitch, that's more like England, what you want to see.
And he was competitive, but it's cleared away again by Zadorsky. Terrific performances for Canada's, from Canada's point of view. Lawrence, Giles, Zadorsky, Quinn, Desiree Scott. Power, pace and game intelligence all around this Canadian side. They will be a force in the Olympic Games again, just as they have been in the last 2 tournaments. Up it goes by Williamson, looking for Ellen White.
I remember, JP, though, England had a game at Wembley where Germany beat England 3-0, and I played in that game as well. And after the game, we kind of said, look, we'd rather lose in this friendly match than in the major tournament, and we learned a lot from that day. And this is what England have got to learn in these friendlies now, that the mistakes that have happened, it's in a friendly game. And I'm positive. I think that Hegarisa would have learnt a lot from these 2 fixtures. It's been a long time since England have come together and played Tier 1 opposition. So I'm still confident with this side.
That was a momentous day. England playing Germany at Wembley, having England women games at Wembley was a huge step forward. And Baroness Sue, you heard from her at half-time, played a massive role in that. Lucy Bronze with the ball in towards the near post, and that's dropped down. And when you started your England career, Karen, thought of an England's women's team playing at Wembley Stadium, it would have been unthinkable. So the developments in the game, I think, over the last 8 years have been so dramatic, so dramatic.
It's a credit to a lot of people, you know, behind the scenes and massive supporters of the women's game, but it's brilliant to see, and hopefully when people are allowed back into the stadiums, those stadiums can be full again.
England have possession with Hemp, with that bandage protecting the head wound, which has gone beyond this time for the first time in the game, really. Schmidt was back there to cover for Canada. It's going to be a corner kick for England. Hemp walking wounded. And who's that Canadian player that's down on the halfway? Is that Zadorsky? No, she's back in defence. Becky, is it? No, it's not. It's the substitute who's come on, the striker, Jordan Heitema, who's gone down. (2-0) Canada lead. First goal scorer was Evelyn Veens, and the second was Mikael Prince.
Again, JP, I don't think Hegarisa will be going, Canada have played through us, haven't really hurt us, have been mistakes from England in essence, and that's what I keep talking about, the lessons learned. So you eradicate them. Hemp's had a really good chance, Jordan Nobbs has hit the crossbar, there's been opportunities for England. It really is the margins in both 18-yard box.
Can England get a stoppage time goal? Heitema has trudged off for Canada. I think she's going to reappear. Jordan Nobbs with the corner kick for England. Can they get a consolation? White was underneath, bounces off Schmidt. There's an appeal there for handball by one of the England players. I think it was Greenwood who was appealing. An eventual shot from Millie Bright goes harmlessly wide. England started the first half so poorly, and then that mistake for the second goal as well. Hegarisa will talk honestly about that. Haven't had too many dealings with her thus far, but have been able to speak to her a couple of times. She's very amenable, and very affable, very knowledgeable. And on we go, last few seconds. Referee has checked her watch. Lucy Bronze was a shove there. It's an England free kick. It's a needless free kick to give away by Heitema. And 30 seconds to go. Bet 365. Need to get on with this. Greenwood left-footed there. Bright has gone forward, telling Jordan Nobbs to get in the mix. Up it goes, looking for Millie Bright. It's loose inside that penalty area and eventually thundered away by Becky for Canada. They'll love this, the WSL players, Becky and Fleming and Zadorsky. They've been at St George's, as I say, in the build-up with England over the last few days. England have been segregated in key areas, and there would have been social distancing as well, but there has been some banter, I gather. And Greenwood then back to Bardsley. Oh, she got caught there as she went to play it out. Buffeted to the ground by Prince. Again, there was a moment there where I thought they would have been in again and got a third, but Canada will have to settle for a 2-goal victory here. The first goal, a gift, a mistake by Stokes. Veens tucked it in. The second, a bad back pass to Bardsley, who couldn't clear it away, and Michelle Prince got the second for Canada. Your final thoughts, Karen, here?
Margins. I think the margins have cost England tonight, but like I keep saying, it's bigger picture planning moving forward. I think Hegorisa would have learnt a lot from these two fixtures, these international friendlies, as well as the players. But they have to eradicate these mistakes if they want to progress in major tournaments.
Good night for the former England assistant manager, Bev Priestman, and her Canadian side. They have come to Stoke and they go away with a victory by 2-0.
That's 4 losses from 14 internationals, Casey. When you sum up this England team at the moment, the performance tonight, how do you look at it?
It's definitely not the form you'd be wanting to go into any major tournament with. I think Karen Carney's just said it there on commentary. It is a game of fine margins, but it seems that we're, as an England team, the fine margins are going for the opposition far too regularly, and it's mistakes that are costing this England team at the moment. I think it was pretty similar against France. And in the other box, not taking the opportunities, but didn't create really enough tonight to win the game.
I said 4 losses, I meant only 4 wins from the last 14 internationals. Rachel, when we look at the first goal, the second goal, another defensive mistake.
Yeah, I thought you might come to me on that one.
You know me too well.
It's, me and Case were talking about it, it's a lonely place. You see it here, comes from an uncontested drop ball because Canada are in possession of the ball when Lauren Henn went off the pitch, so back to them. So rightly they can play it as the ball was in possession. KB just needs to clear a line, simple as that. Backpedaling, you're off balance, you need to be on your front foot and your body weight going forwards. Taking a touch there, I know, everyone knows, she'll know, could be costly, and it was for her. I mean, did the ball have to go back to KB? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, small margins, decisions. KB's first time back in an England shirt for a long time. She'll have known that this was a big moment for her. Yeah, it's unfortunate that a second mistake led to a second goal for Canada.
Let's look at some of the other chances England managed to create in the second half, Casey, with a player that plays for you coming on, making a difference, Ella Toone.
Yeah, I thought Ella played really well when she come on. I thought she faced forward in the pockets well. She linked the play well. She brought an energy to midfield that they needed. And obviously, as a coach, I was really pleased. Obviously, it's a half chance. This is a great counter-attack from a corner. I thought the way they got up the pitch and made ground, and Ella Toone here, but the way they got forward, Canada matched it every single time with their energy levels. And this, for me, is the chance. You know, it's 1-0 at this point in the game. Did she need to take that last touch, which took her wide, which changed the angle, which allowed the goalkeeper to come out, or could she have took it a touch earlier?
I'm just looking as well, with 3 clean sheets in the last 14, what does this England team need to do to stop stats like that, Rachel?
Well, I think what Canada brought was a real hunger, a real sense of identity to how they played. They were very organised, and I think at the moment that's something that England might have to look a little bit deeper about themselves. Yes, they've had changes of Hegorisa's come in, Phil Neville left, and that's going to, it's going to take a little bit of time for tactics to bed in, but these players are fully professional players. They need to learn formations and be able to apply them at the top level, which is the case tonight. And I think Steph Houghton has been a big miss. I think as a leader, as an organiser, as a player who pulls players around them, leads them and helps that flow. Organisation needs to be really tightened up, and they need to be more clinical.
Okay, well, there were some key Euro 2022 playoffs taking place tonight as well. Earlier today, Russia confirmed their place with a 1-0 win against Portugal, whilst it's currently 2-2 on aggregate this evening against Switzerland and Czech Republic. That game currently in extra time. But the big news at the moment is Northern Ireland are winning in their game. It's 3-1 at the moment on aggregate, and Callahan with that goal, which would mean that they qualify for their first major tournament. Casey, the feelings from them?
Unbelievable achievement. I remember the time when we qualified for our first World Cup in France, and it's an unbelievable feeling. What an achievement by that nation. To qualify for a major tournament, they're going to go there and they're going to enjoy it every minute.
Well, I have to say thank you for joining me. Brownie, thank you for joining me. That's it from us here at the Lionesses. Lose 2 from 2. Not a very good international window for them, but plenty to look forward to in the summer. Hope you've enjoyed it. Good night.
after 2 minutes and 35 seconds. A shot from range. Nobbs takes it. Oh, net rattle at the top of the bar.